Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So we're going to do a check-in. I'm going to pull some cards and try to do like more of an in-depth reading and see kind of what's going on, what spirit wants us to know. I know a lot of people right now are getting hit with all kinds of different energy. There's a lot of kind of confusion. For some people, there's a lot of chaos. For some people, it's a lot of like up and downs. There's a lot of unknown right now. There's a lot of discomfort around not knowing things. And I'm also getting a lot of people are getting like triggers. So there's a lot of triggers coming up, a lot of towers. Spirit's saying a lot of endings are coming up right now. They probably have been over the last few days, and it feels like it's kind of coming up for the next few days. So from whenever you see this, not necessarily when I record it. But yeah, there's a lot of endings. With those endings, you're not really able to see kind of what's coming after that. There's kind of a lot of unknown, a lot of like not familiar energy, and it's very uncomfortable because it's very different than you've probably experienced. But a lot of you guys are seeing your conditioning, you're kind of having understanding of like where your fears are, where your blockages, where your walls are, where you sabotage or run away or push things away that you actually want, stuff like that. I'm also getting like a lot of inner child energies coming up too. So a lot of the past is kind of coming back up. Whether it's occurring right now or it's like the old emotions are coming up, the old feelings, the old memories, things like that are kind of coming up to trigger the stuff from the past to help you see it and heal it. Definitely some like issues. I'm getting a lot of like father wounds and stuff like that, especially for the feminine. It feels like a lot of father wounds are being triggered. For the masculine, it feels like some mother wounds, some father wounds. For the masculine, it more so almost feels like a couple, like the mother and father figure kind of, and the way their relationship dynamic is, and it's kind of mirroring something with them, whereas the feminine more so feels like it's specifically related to like a father wound and stuff. So there's a lot of that. I know I always talk about like the energy. We have like a shift a few days ago again. I feel like we keep shifting like almost every day, but there's a lot of like different energies kind of coming in. Some of it's yours, some of it's other people's. Some people are getting gift upgrades. So as those integrate and stuff, you can't always tell the difference of what is what, whose is whose and stuff. There's a lot, Spirit's been saying this to me like a lot with integration. I don't fully understand exactly what they're talking about because they haven't given me full clarity, but kind of what I was getting is like the old version of you is kind of like not being erased, but kind of like neutralized, where things that in the past have kind of kept you stuck now, perceptions or experiences or traumas or things like that, like those are kind of being neutralized and cleared and like released. And like you're integrating like your present energy, all the lessons you've kind of learned, all the new coping skills, things like that. And you're integrating with kind of like the future energy, not like super future, but like the near future energy. So areas where you've been kind of daydreaming or seeing things like you wanted that haven't really like transpired in real life right now in the physical reality. Like you're kind of integrating those energies with kind of the old version where you're healing the inner child in the past, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of that. There's also, they're saying like there's a lot of internal imbalance. So there's an imbalance for a lot of people where it's like what you want in your heart center, right? Like some of you guys might be feeling your heart chakra a little bit more. There's definitely some activations and releasing lately. But like what you actually want in your heart, what you know is best for you, things like that. And there's a lot of like inner conflict with your mind, which is really kind of your inner child, your fears and your conditioning. And there's a lot of conflict with that. So some of you guys are getting just pieces of information, like pieces of the puzzle, like just little bits of clarity that you're needing to help you kind of make different choices for the future and for like the now. So helping you understand why you make choices that you make and helping you see things different. I'm still getting a lot of perception changes are taking place too. So if you're really conflicted and confused, kind of just try to sit with it and go within like, what are my emotions? What are my feelings? What can I do for myself in this moment? And try your hardest to focus on the present moment, like right now, what you can do to be in alignment. And I say what I mean by be in alignment is what is it that you want, and start making choices that are for that. And they had me type this up in my phone the other day in like my notes. They had me keep typing all this stuff, but not actually posting it. And one of the things was, I was kind of just going through some energy shit, and I was, this situation, I was just like, yeah. And this is kind of what they were saying is, you know, it's one thing to sit and want something and desire it and daydream, but a daydream is just a daydream until there's action behind it. And, you know, it might be nice to have that energy and that emotion or that connection with the daydream, but until you or another person takes action on that, it's never going to manifest in the physical reality. And so it's just a thought. It's just an idea. It's just, you know, that, and it's not really anything if you think about it, because, you know, you could sit and desire like a, you know, business, and you could daydream about it and feel the good energy and all the emotions and all that shit. But until you're actually taking action to actually open a business or to do something, it's just a daydream, and it's never going to just, you know, happen. So for some of you guys, you're learning how to take action on stuff and not just sit back and just enjoy the emotions and the energy of the daydream. Like, you're learning that you need to actually take actions, put effort in and stuff like that. There's kind of a few different groups of energy, but that's the one that they're asking me to talk about. The other group I feel like is, there's one group who's like, I need to take action on stuff and stop being complacent and letting my fear and conditioning take over. And the other group more so feels like they're learning patience, like they do actually make the efforts or they do take action, but they're learning to like trust in their intuition and what they know, and like go really deep within themselves and like their conditioning and their trauma, and kind of seeing where certain blockages occur that prevent them from having what they want, manifesting what they want, because it feels like they want certain things, but it's not actually coming in the physical reality because they're healing certain things that are energetically blocking it, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I'm just going to pull some cards, like, and just kind of see what Spirit says with some stuff. Yeah, that's all right. I'll grab it after. My deck just fell. So we got status quo, no supportive connections, intuition, and manifestation. That. And then the bottom, we got great gratitude, deception, vast universe, honoring path. They're having me separate them. On the bottom, we got taking steps and victim mentality. And under that, we got deserving. Some of you guys are definitely working on your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, knowing you're enough. I'm also getting some of you guys, it's more so an internal perception where you're learning to not compare yourself to other people. You're learning that what other people do doesn't have anything to do with your worth or value. Some people are learning how to actually take steps and actions toward what they want. Because they kind of sit backwards because they don't think they're like enough. So they actually like will stay backwards and not allow in what they actually deserve and want. We got taking steps and victim mentality. Okay, so they're saying like the divine feminine is this, like the taking steps, and the divine masculine is the victim mentality. With the feminine, it feels like she knows like she's at the end of the cycle, and she knows like she's almost there and what she wants is almost there. And it's like she's not able to see something clearly, but she's still like honoring her path and like moving forward, because like it feels like she's emotionally struggling a little bit and like having some like fears and stuff come up because she's not really understanding. And they're saying like she's kind of in her logical mind, she's not really understanding how something's going to be able to happen for her because of the way everything looks. But it feels like she's still taking steps forward and working toward her dream and like not giving up. Whereas the masculine, it feels like they're kind of stuck in a lot of emotions, but it feels like kind of self-imposed ones. And it feels like definitely there's a lot, they're showing me the hourglass, but they're actually saying divine timing with something. So it feels like they're maybe sticking themselves in like a situation that's causing them like a lot of pain or a lot of emotions, but it doesn't feel like good emotions. It feels like very like kind of heavy, just very like sad, lonely, almost like depressed energy is what it kind of feels like. But it feels like they're sitting there instead of like taking like action for what they actually want to do. It's like some of them are sitting in victim mentality. I keep hearing like spirits say like they're worried about running out of time with something. So it feels like there's some type of fear that like they're putting this like pressure on themselves to do something within a certain amount of time. But what it's doing is actually sticking them even more, because it feels like they're putting like pressure on themselves to do something in a certain amount of time, which is making them almost like feel hopeless, like where they're like, I'm not going to be able to do that. So they're like, fuck it, I'm just not going to do anything. That's kind of what they feel like right now. We got status quo, new supported connections, intuition, manifestation. Okay, they're having me do this separate like this. With this status quo, like Spirit's saying, even when you can't see that you're moving forward, trust you're always making the right steps and you're moving forward in the right direction. Like what you want will always come, even like on the darkest days, like where you can't see it. That's kind of what they're saying with this card. With the new supportive connections and intuition and manifestation, okay, so the new supportive connections, I'm actually getting some like masculines are like kind of like daydreaming about the feminine or something like that. And they're like thinking about them a lot. They're thinking about all these future things with them. And with the intuition and manifestation card, it's almost like the feminine can feel it and see it, but is like, almost feels like annoyed or irritated that it never happens or something like that. It's, I keep getting this very stuck energy. So obviously it's going to be for a specific group of people, but it just feels like this very like stuck energy. That's not normally what these cards mean, but that's what they're kind of channeling to me. I asked them like if there's advice on that, and Spirit's saying like they're like on both ends they're being blocked. Like they're showing me this like roadblock, like they're both being blocked right now from really feeling and seeing the reality as it is. It feels like a lot of triggers and shit are coming in at them that are not necessarily accurate the way they're seeing them, because it's helping them clear the past and like put their walls down and open themselves up. That's kind of what I'm getting. So more so just like it's an awareness thing to kind of see your own stuff. Just keep working on yourself, and like what's supposed to come for you is going to come for you naturally. Like it will just kind of happen like out of nowhere, like kind of unexpectedly, where you're like, huh? Like the dog with the side, like the head turned to the side, where you're like, wait, what's going on? Like that type. You will get the clarity and you will get the messages like as you need them. You might not get all of them like right away and stuff, but you will get like the clarity and messages as you need it. So just trust that, like when it comes in, like trust the message you're getting. So like if you're getting intuition on things, trust it even when everything you're seeing outward doesn't match that. Sometimes it's you're able to feel intentions, or you're able to feel energy in the present moment as it actually is, but outwardly it's not always that way. So think about yourself, like sometimes you're going through like a really hard time, but nobody can tell, because like outwardly you're presenting like you're really happy, everything's good. Maybe you don't want to share it with people, or whatever reason you're not really talking about it and things like that. So just because it looks one way doesn't actually mean it's that way. Like somebody could actually be really struggling or having a lot going on. They might seem like, oh, they're really strong and they can handle something, but like when they're alone or by themselves, they're like fucking crying and they have just so much shit going on and so much heaviness. So just because you're seeing things one way doesn't actually mean they're that way. And some of you guys are learning to trust in your inner knowing and trust in yourself so much that everything outward isn't going to impact the way you actually know shit is and feel. Like it's a really deep like knowing and intuition you're working on. With this great gratitude and deception, holy, with this energy, Jesus. So this is obviously going to be for, you know, certain people. It's not going to be for everybody. I just get like this manipulative, like malicious energy with this card. Just somebody who has really bad intentions. And it's almost like you're starting to see and hear it. So if you're in this situation, you'll already know not everybody's necessarily in this situation. Some people is definitely somebody you're in like a connection with, whether it's a family, a friend, or romantic relationship, maybe a coworker, something like that. Just this very like gossipy, shit talking energy, just very bad intentions. Like it's almost like you guys know it, you have some suspicion of it, but it's like you're not letting yourself fully believe it. And it just feels, to be honest, like this trauma bond, like you're stuck there. Like you kind of know it, but you're like kind of stuck there. It's almost like this inner child trying to gain approval or gain worthiness or being chosen or enoughness or something. It definitely feels like an inner child trauma. It's not actually you wanting to be with that person or wanting that person in your life. It's you're trying to heal something through them, but it feels very subconscious. but I also get like you're being stuck there. If you're still there, you're kind of being stuck there because you're needing to understand and see something a different way. And some of you is learning to trust in your intuition no matter what you're actually seeing. And whatever it is that's been going on, you're going to actually get like the truth and clarity on it soon. It's almost like this person's going to show you their true colors. They might have already recently, or you, if you're in this situation, it's going to be soon. But it feels like very, like it either just happened or it's happening like really fucking soon. Like it doesn't feel like future at all. It feels very like present, like recent past, or like last few days to next few days, like very fucking present. Like you're going to be getting the truth and clarity of what actually happened or what's really been happening. That feels like heavy ass energy. With the vast universe and honoring path, it definitely is like, I'm getting from spirit, like this very unknown, but this feels so good. Like I'm going to tell you right now, this energy feels so good, feels so light, so positive. It's almost like after the storm, like there's so much rain, there's so much cleansing, there's so much purging, emotions, crying, and all that stuff. And after the storm, it's like this beautiful energy. It's like the birds are singing, you know, the flowers are blooming, there's rainbows, the sun's, you know, bright and shining. Like that's the energy. When you end that heavy cycle, like that's the energy that's coming. And it's something that's part of your spiritual path. You've already been getting messages that are kind of leading you toward this, that's going to open you up to something like a really positive experience, something that's definitely like a wish fulfillment, something you've been desiring or wanting. And it's going to open up and it just feels so like light and like freeing and just so good. What did I knock down? Oh, the booklet. Like I know I knocked something down. What's the card that just came out? Yeah, the deserving. So some of you guys definitely are working toward this. This might be taking a little while though, the deserving energy, like feeling like good enough and worthy. They're kind of showing me this cycle, like how you'll feel like good enough, or you'll make choices that are good enough, and or like things like that, but then you'll kind of go backwards, and then it's almost like you keep going backwards and forward, like I feel good and all this stuff, and then something else comes up. I feel good and something else comes up. You're building that up. You're building like that level up, almost like, you know, not necessarily tolerance, but that's kind of the word that's coming in. Like the more you experience it, the more you're able to stay strong and work through it. It just feels like something that's maybe going to take a little bit longer than you want, but it's because it's clearing like all of, the trauma and experiences that you've already had. So they're asking me to pull. So this is what's coming in the near future for you guys. We're pulling what's coming in the near future. Yeah, or no? No, you're not wanting to come out. Ooh, those are interesting ass cards. Do you want me to pull more or no? Okay. We got Love Begins. I'm just curious what's underneath it. Not because they wanted me to pull it. They didn't ask me to pull it. I'm just like the curiosity. Harmony and Love Begins. For some of you, it's definitely a romantic connection or a soul connection. For some of you, it's just like peace and like harmony, like balance within yourself, and just kind of almost like this energy. I just keep getting a lot of balance, almost this energy of like your heart and like your ego mind are not going to constantly be in conflict. Like there's going to be balance and peace there. With this triumphant emotional withdrawal, so with the Triumph card, it feels like something's going to come in very quick and intense out of nowhere. Like literally you're not going to see it. Something's going to come completely out of nowhere. It doesn't feel bad. It just feels intense. But not bad, just intense. It almost like, I know it says emotional withdrawal, but that's not what I'm getting from them. It's almost like this, whatever this situation is that's going to come in for you, it's going to come in very intense and fast and just completely out of fucking nowhere. And what I'm getting from Spirit is almost like this gratitude, like this understanding for why it's taken so long, why you've been going through these hard times. And I almost like want to cry because I can feel the energy of this. It's like this great like gratitude for just everything that's happened. So like, and I'm just seeing this giant smile with this too, just this really positive thing. They're not telling me what it is, so it's going to probably be different for everybody, but you'll have some semblance of an idea of what it is. Obviously, I'm sure you'll have some knowledge if it's for you, what it is. But it just feels almost just like this gratitude and appreciation energy with it. So we got patience in planning financial and material changes, authority. And the reason why I was like kind of laughing is because if you notice, the background on these are the exact same, the two pillars, which are like the only two cards in the whole deck that have that. So for me, it's a lot of times when I see this, a lot of times this is soul connections. This is like the duality. This is the balance, the light and the dark, the feminine, the masculine. A lot of times this is like the stability and groundingness that no matter what kind of happens or comes in, and if you notice, there's like 3 different weather conditions in this card. No matter what kind of comes in, they're always stable, balanced, and mirrored. Like no matter what happens, like they're still always stable and strong. So for some of you, it's definitely like a connection that you've been waiting on. It feels like you're going to start seeing stuff in the physical reality in the near future. Like you're going to start, there's going to be more action behind it, and you're going to start seeing some of it in the physical reality. It might not be exactly what you want it to be, but it's going to start coming in the way it needs to for you. With this card, I keep seeing all these seasons. They're not exactly explaining it to me, and I'm not really sure why they're doing this. Like I just keep seeing like all these different seasons. So maybe, I don't want to guess because they're not giving me an answer. I'm like, I could tell you guys like possibilities, but I'm not getting like a complete answer. So I don't really want to speculate on it because I'm not quite sure what they're trying to say. I just keep getting like seasons, like just different, like more so I'm getting like summer, like fall, winter is really kind of what I'm getting. And they're saying changes with it. So a lot of changes have been taking place during those time periods. Almost kind of what they're showing me is like a few months this is taking place, a few months this is taking place, a few months this is taking place. And it's like almost like you're becoming very strong and stable, and you're able to really kind of stand in your power, and they're saying and take action because of it. And this is generally like the Emperor card in this deck too, and it's this very like masculine energy. I don't always get it like this, but this to me, what I'm getting today is this like very strong knowing, and like this masculine who is like ready to take action. This could be, you know, a masculine, you know, or it could be your own like inner energy masculine. Like as these seasons change and these changes occur and these different experiences are happening, it's like something's ready to finally take place. Like after all these changes, like something's ready to be stable and take place. But whatever it is very balanced, very stable, very action oriented. So it feels like maybe some of those ideas or things you've been wanting are actually going to be manifesting in the physical reality, and you're going to be able to take action. It's not just going to be like thoughts and planning. It's actually going to be very action oriented. I think October feels like it's going to be more of a fast paced month where you're having the energy to do things, like to actually do what you want. So, all right, let's pull a few more cards and see. They didn't ask me to pull for a specific thing. So, yeah, they didn't ask me to pull for a specific thing. So we're just kind of pulling. Wow, this is like all over the fucking place like this. Okay. Oh, I like it. We got the wheel, which is, I'm getting something shifting, but when it shifts, you're not even going to know. You're going to be in one energy, feeling like things are happening one way, and you're going to be completely blocked from realizing something's coming up for you. That's what I get. With the highest priestess, like you guys already know the answer. Like your soul already knows the answer. You can already energetically feel it shifting and coming. Even if the physical reality doesn't look like that, or your intuition, or not your intuition, your logical mind's kind of telling you something, like you can already feel some type of shifting, and a lot of you guys are learning to really trust in that intuition. Some of you guys are really like going deep into that, where you're like, oh, I trust, and then something came up and now you're like, okay, wait, I don't trust so much, or this is the complete opposite. And it's like you're getting triggered to test your faith and stuff, but also to deepen that level of trust within yourself, where then you'll get like a bit of clarity or information and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then you're moving forward, and you might get triggered and stopped again. But it's like, as you're doing that, you're seeing things different and you're healing. With the 5 of Michael, it definitely feels like some of you guys are holding on to something specific that's not helping you, whether it's a perspective or it's something that you're wanting to happen. But it feels like for these people, it feels more so like a trauma bond type energy. Like you're holding on to something like an attachment, not even something you want. You're holding, like this more so feels like you're holding onto an attachment that relates to trauma, not actually something you want, not something that's heart-centered. It's more so very ego, inner child trauma. If you are, work through that and kind of see like, what is it that I'm trying to prove? What is it that I'm needing from this situation? Like, and ask yourself questions. Or saying like self-awareness on that situation, because when you have the self-awareness, you will naturally just make different choices, or you'll start seeing stuff at a bigger level. Like if you're in a situation that's a trauma related one, where you're trying to prove something, or get certain emotions and shit like that, like the more you go into it, the more you become aware, the less shit you're willing to deal with, because you understand it has nothing to do with this person or situation. It really just has to do with this wound that's not healed. With the Knight of Ariel and 9 of Gabriel, I'm going to show you guys these cards, and I'm going to tell you it's not exactly what they normally mean. So if you notice like the feminine, and we keep getting this treasure chest, right? But if you notice the feminine, she's putting gold coins down in a fucking field with a masculine watching over her, and he has a shield and he's protecting her. And then we have the 9 of Gabriel, where the feminine is in a field and the masculine's like holding a shovel in front of her. If you notice, this is very protective energy. This is somebody that is watching over you and is very protective. The first card, it feels almost like past, and this feels more so like near future energy. So the Knight of Ariel is like a little bit past, a little bit present, and the Knight of Gabriel is like very near future. So the Knight of Ariel, it feels like the feminine's kind of trying to work toward abundance and trying to work toward something, but her energy feels kind of like fresher and newer, like not totally sure exactly what she's doing. And it feels like the masculine's like watching over and protecting her, but it's almost like the energy is almost like it's his first time doing it, so he's not quite sure. And it feels like these two had to kind of mature and go through things to be able to understand them. And with the Knight of Gabriel, it feels like this very mature energy. So whatever experiences you've been going through and you're going through right now, like what is bringing you is this maturity. With the Knight of Gabriel, like what I'm getting is the feminine coming into her Empress energy with this. Like she's coming into her confidence, she's coming into her power, she just knows what the fuck to do. And the masculine in this card feels very... like he feels like fun. First off, I love like the guys when they're fun, but like he feels very fun, but he feels very stable and protective. Like he's not going to allow anything to kind of screw this up, whatever this situation is. And it's definitely like some type of seed that's been planted that's like flourishing right now. It's almost like they're saying like the storm thing, like the rain right now is watering this garden so it can grow. So it's like that's kind of what you've been working toward. Obviously it's very metaphorical, but take it the way it resonates for you specifically. With the Knight of Gabriel in perspective, so I'm getting the masculine and feminine again, so I'm just going to read it the way I'm getting it. So it feels like the feminine kind of is trying to like charge in like head first. This feels a little bit past. Kind of charge in head first and kind of trying to rush towards something and avoid some emotions or feelings. Definitely feels like some father wounds with this situation. And she's trying to rush in because she feels like if it comes, she's not going to have to keep feeling these energies. But what's going on is she's shifting and standing in her power, realizing like she can actually be patient, wait for things to happen, and like truly stand in her power and not just tell herself she's in her power, like actually stand in her power, be patient, have courage, like understand things. With the masculine, which we begin a lot of perspective shifts, the masculine almost feels like this avoidance, like I'm going to make light of a situation and kind of avoid it. But it actually feels like almost like that hanged man energy where he's being like forced to see things from a different perspective. He might be feeling some of the feminine's energy too, like kind of what she had experienced because of his actions. It kind of feels like he's having to see the other side of how his avoidance and him trying to, you know, just put on charm or just kind of do things like half-ass and not really full, you know, whatever. Like now he's having to understand and feel the consequences of how his actions affect other people, including the feminine. It feels like this kind of something within the relationship somehow. It could be because you're physically with them, or just it's an energetic thing right now before you come together, like a healing thing they're saying. So some of you, it's like a healing situation. But it feels like he's getting a perspective shift. Some of them might not be taking it too serious. Like it feels like some of them are still trying to avoid. I'm not gonna lie. And they're not really taking it too serious, but I'm getting almost this like very, as I say that, this very strong masculine energy. I can't see who they're talking about. This like a spiritual energy, like just this very strong like masculine energy that's like a father that's like very tough love, like what the fuck are you doing, like stop your shit kind of energy. So they might be getting presented with some type of, you know, ass kicking where like it's really like kicking their ass in gear to like see stuff and stop fucking around with something, whatever that is. Okay, we got Peace, Queen of Gabriel, Ace of Gabriel. They're also saying some of this is a mix of past and present energy. So it might be a little bit different for everybody, like where it is. Some of it might be like here or there. It might be up and down. It might be like present and then it shifts and then it's the other way again. Everybody's kind of going to be different. That's why they're not really wanting me to say that. I feel like somehow it triggered somebody for something like where they thought they were further along in the journey or somebody else was further along in the journey and then they got triggered by it. But maybe they are. Maybe you're just needing to see things a certain way to trigger. If you're getting triggered, there's something you're needing to see or heal or something. With this Peace card, I'm just getting like, you guys are going to be getting, this is not normally what this means. You're going to be getting spiritual guidance. It's going to come in, I said this in the beginning, it's going to come in kind of piece by piece as you need it. And really only when you're needing it. To help you get past something. So if you're kind of blocked right now, there's a reason for it. You're growing like internally, but you're being guided. So just trust you're being guided the whole time, even if you don't feel it and see it. Some of you, it's definitely for you to really come in. Most of you, it's for you to really come into your true power. We kind of keep getting this, to come into your true power and like stand in your power. And that's going to bring you some type of new opportunity and some type of action. Like something that you're desiring is going to open up, some type of passion is going to open up, and you're going to be in such like strong energy that you're going to be trusting in your intuition. It's like this balance of masculine and feminine. You're going to be trusting in your intuition to guide you the whole time, but you're also going to be in the masculine where you're going to be taking action and kind of planning it too. It kind of just feels like this nice balance of like courage and faith. Like even if you're scared, you're going to be like good because you're going to know like whatever is coming for you is like working out. Which one? The fairies like keep screaming at me. All right, let me just pull from the fairy deck. So they're saying the word dreams to me. Like don't give up on your dreams. All I keep getting is like don't give up on your dreams. Okay. We got shine from within. Looks are only skin deep. True beauty shines from within and it's time for you to shine. This is a time for self-acceptance and revealing your true beauty. I know I said that earlier with the confidence. For some of you guys, you're also seeing how you've been raised very superficial, like where you feel like you need to alter your body or you need to like lose weight or you need to look a certain way or do certain things. And You're learning to like accept and love yourself for who you are. You're learning your your true internal value, rather than like the way the world has always kind of seen beauty. It feels like a lot of you guys are seeing kind of where that started with your parents, where that kind of started, and then like in school where that kind of happened, and then your young adult life where it's kind of always reflected that, and you're starting to see that. And it feels like there's definitely a shift with the physical stuff for sure. We got nature signs, life energy, and wisdom. Yeah, some of you guys are definitely getting some animal signs, probably more than anything, a lot of animal signs. You might not be getting the energy or message with it, but trust what you know. Like if the sign means something, trust it, okay? Excuse me. If there's been a sign that's already been, like an animal that's already been assigned to you by spirit, like trust in what it means and what it's always kind of meant for you. Because some of you, like the old signs are kind of coming back because they're trying to give you the same messages without you needing to feel it in your body, where you're just trusting it. Like you've already passed like a certain thing that you needed to. I'm getting this, like these energetic shifts, like you have a lot of energy coming in. There's a lot of energetic shifts. And even as like the emotions keep going up and down, you're growing and you're learning from it. That's what I'm getting more than anything. You're growing and learning as these energetic shifts kind of take place. And that's the cards. I know that's not typically what they mean, but they're not wanting me to read the bottom. They're just wanting me to channel it. So if you notice, you got a lot of outdoor energy. So, for some of you, definitely going like and getting, some sun, or like going outside and kind of grounding and being like in fresh air in the trees and stuff is going to kind of help you calm your mind down and get some type of like recharge energy or clarity or something like that. I guess it's gonna be different for everybody. If you can't, definitely they're saying like you can take like a spiritual like cleanse in the shower, like just go in there with the intention to cleanse your energy, and just as the water's flowing, and just picture kind of like all the heaviness and sadness and stuff that's been weighing you down, like releasing toward the future. Because it feels like a lot of the unknown that's going on right now, it's like I've been getting a lot of analogies with bridges with spirit lately. It's almost like the bridge is like the final step to where you need to be, and like you already are on the bridge, or you're almost at the end of the bridge, but you are kind of blindfolded, so you don't really see that, because you're needing to like trust and have faith. It's almost like they're like a trust fall, like where you know you're gonna be safe and protected, but you can't physically see that. That's kind of what is going on. They're giving a lot of like metaphors today. Very interesting. You get the messages you need and it will resonate. Like I know I had said Saturn was popping up. I think it was like 2 weeks ago in the reading. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck it means. And I keep seeing this bridge thing. I'm not totally sure what the bridge thing means either. But funny enough, somebody came in like the shop after the whole Saturn thing and had brought up something with this cycle. And I'm like, damn, I've been getting this energy. Okay, that makes sense with Saturn. And then I keep seeing Saturn stuff like everywhere in these transits with Saturn and just all this stuff. So sometimes you'll get signs ahead of time, but you don't always understand them, or they're not always like in the present reality, and it's sometimes what you're actually working toward, or it's symbolic of something else. So a lot of times you can ask, what does this mean to you specifically? What do you think of, you know, things like that, and kind of get some clarity. But if you're supposed to have the answer, you will. So I hope that this helped, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day.